This is Brian, Atlanta Hot Tub Center and Tub Talk 101. And guys, today I want to talk about salt systems. You know, we get a ton of questions on that, and people come into the store and ask a lot of questions on it. And so I guess the title of this video should be, should you buy a saltwater hot tub? Well, simple answer, maybe. But it's important to understand what it is you're buying and why. First, let's just talk about science in general. Guys, science is proof of everything. Proof of concept, proof of facts. I mean, that's how you prove things. It's the science behind it. Okay, and I think everybody knows that and everybody understands that. So let's talk about salt. First things first, salt in a hot tub or a swim spa is not salt from the ocean. So don't expect to get all the magnesium and minerals and all the health benefits from ocean salt, right? You're not going to get that. Ocean salt comes from cracks in the ocean floor. Okay? It's not the kind of thing that can be replicated. It's not the kind of thing that you can do in a hot tub. There's no cracks from the ocean floor creating natural salt that does all these wonderful things for your skin and body. Right? So let's take that off the table. Okay? Now let's move into what salt is that's going into a hot tub. Okay? And there's actually two types of salt that you can use in a hot tub or swim spa: sodium chloride, which turns into chlorine, and sodium bromide that turns into bromine. Okay? Now, from the outside looking in, these look like wonderful systems, right? I mean, the marketing and the sales behind them, they create soft water, they take care of themselves, yada, 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 yada. Well, not necessarily. The marketing is not being 110% honest with you, and not all marketing is. And I think we all know that, right? Not all marketing is not all marketing is totally honest. Like, look at a Burger King or a McDonald's commercial. Have you seen one? Because the hamburger that I see in the commercial is definitely not the hamburger you're getting served, okay? They don't even look close to the same, all right? So first things first, when you're buying a saltwater hot tub, I want you to ask the salesman or saleswoman, I want you to ask them, I want you to say, show me the manual of taking care of this salt system. You'll find that every salt system manual is about that thick. Okay? It's like a quarter of a dictionary. Okay? It's because you still have to maintain every other chemical in there. And it's going to go into the corrosiveness, especially how corrosive it can be if you're not maintaining those chemicals, because science says that salt and hot water is highly, highly, highly corrosive. Okay? So maintenance in your salt system is very, very important. The pH is not going to maintain itself, the alkalinity is not going to maintain itself, and the calcium is not going to maintain itself. Sodium chloride and sodium bromide just turn into chlorine or bromine. If you talk to a scientist, they're going to say, hey, listen, there is no special symbol, okay, on the table for chlorine that comes from salt. They're going to say chlorine's chlorine, period. Is it true that chlorine that comes from salt is a little softer on your skin? Yes, that is true. But there are systems out there today where you can maintain chlorine at 1 part per million. By the way, your sodium chloride in your hot tub, you're going to have to maintain at 3 to 5 parts per million of chlorine. So there's actually more chlorine in a salt hot tub than a lot of the systems out there today that are just dripping in and coming up with 1 part per million of chlorine, right? Without the corrosive factor, okay, of the salt, right? Because again, this is proven science. This is a fact. Salt and hot water are highly corrosive. It's not cold water like a pool. It's not nearly corrosive in a pool than it is in hot water. I want to say it again. Salt and hot water is scientifically proven to be corrosive. Okay? You talk to a chemist and we look at a graph. There is no special symbol, or not a graph, excuse me, on that. You talk to a chemist and we talk about the table. There is no special symbol on the table from chlorine that comes from salt. Okay? Simply put. Again, yes, it's a little bit softer on your skin, but I don't know how much softer it would really be when we start talking about 1 part per million of chlorine like some of these other systems. Okay? The other thing is it's actually turning that salt into chlorine while you're sitting in it. You do realize that, right? The salt's in the hot tub, right? And while you're sitting in it, it's turning into chlorine. So those gases got to go somewhere from the chlorine. You still have some off-gassing going on from the chlorine that's being made from the salt, or the bromine that's being made from the salt, right? So there's that to kind of consider. I guess I struggle, okay? And this is just me. Like, we sell salt systems, we sell the at-ease system. You can buy anything you want here, right? There's a salt system you can buy. I know there's some proprietary salt systems out there that work with their controls and topside displays and all that. I get that, but you can put a salt system in anything. And we'll sell you a salt system, but we're going to tell you the pros and cons of it up front. My biggest problem with it is the corrosive factor. It really corrodes, shaft seals and motors, O-rings and heaters and other components in the hot tub. They start to leak, they start to have problems, and you've got to replace those. And in a higher end hot tub, it is not cheap. We are seeing components that should last 10 years only last 4 or 5 years, man. We're seeing 5.5 years out of a lot of these really well-built components. The salt is just destroying the components in these hot tubs, and that's for every brand. I mean, I've seen them all. It doesn't matter what you're looking at. That's all the brands, and that's what we're seeing. And the salt system parts are super expensive. Listen, I can give you a lot of customers, right, for a referral, and they would say, man, we pulled the salt system out. It was just creating problems. It was just making our experience with our hot tub very, very, very expensive, right? The salt system parts, the cells, right, the controllers, all the different things, they're super, super expensive, guys. I mean, look it up for yourself. Look up salt systems. You'll see how expensive they are, right? The at-ease system or other floater systems, you don't have those parts. It's just the floater system. There's no part to fail. There's nothing that has to split apart molecules and create chlorine to sanitize it, right? The other thing is a lot of times customers don't even know when their salt system fails. They have a ton of salt in the hot tub and it's corroding everything, and the salt's not being turned into chlorine because the salt cell's bad. They don't even know, right? So, guys, it's just, to me, it's a little bit of a marketing gimmick. If you want to buy a salt system, listen, I'll sell you one. But what I want to sell you is a hot tub that's going to last 25, 30 years with little to no problems. The question is how do we get there? And in my opinion, salt is not the way. This is Brian at Atlanta Hot Tub Center, and should you buy a salt system with your hot tub? Thank you.